On this video, we're going to explore the fascinating topic of Cassandra Syndrome and how it can ruin relationships with autistic people. Let's go. Welcome, my friend. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy, and I'm all about helping you raise your level of understanding, acceptance, and appreciation of the autistic community. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'd be delighted if you'd consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and joining this most amazing YouTube community. And if you haven't already, go and check out my brand new dedicated podcast YouTube channel, Orion Kelly Podcasts. Let's talk about Cassandra Syndrome, what it is, and how you can avoid it ruining your relationships with autistic people. What is Cassandra Syndrome? Cassandra Syndrome is an experience that occurs when a person's feelings and needs are dismissed or ignored by others, despite, in their mind, being communicated clearly. So I feel like I've communicated clearly to you my feelings and my needs, yet you've dismissed them or ignored them, potentially because you simply didn't get it or don't understand what I'm conveying to you. With just that small basic definition, I reckon it's pretty obvious and pretty easy to see that Cassandra Syndrome can have a pretty detrimental impact on a relationship. I mean, it can really impact relationships with these feelings of disconnect and lack of trust. Now, Cassandra Syndrome can definitely occur in many situations. It's absolutely not exclusive to autistic people. However, it is particularly relevant in the context of autistic people involved in relationships with non-autistic people, in neurodiverse relationships. So let's talk about why that is the case, how that occurs, and how we can stop it with some key strategies. Before we do that, just a quick little tidbit I think you'll be interested in. You're probably thinking, hang on a second, okay, cool. I think I get this whole Cassandra Syndrome thing, but what? Who's Cassandra? Great question. The term Cassandra Syndrome actually comes from Greek mythology. Oh yeah. So Cassandra was cursed to speak only the truth, but never be believed. Can you imagine being cursed to speak only the truth, but not be believed? Actually, I can imagine it. I think it's called autism. So the Cassandra Syndrome from Greek mythology is often a really great metaphor used to describe the experience autistic people have in expressing ourselves and being understood. So that's what it is. But now, how does it actually occur? And let's talk about the connection between how it occurs between neurotypical people and autistic people, specifically in neurodiverse relationships, which might be platonic relationships or romantic. What are the words for, just different relationships? As a starting point, clearly, one of the obvious causes will be, okay, so as autistic people, as part of our diagnosis, as part of our brain being wired differently, we have challenges with communication, with interaction, with social cues. And at times those challenges can make it harder for us as autistic people to express our feelings and needs. As a result of that breakdown, partners or friends may dismiss or ignore our feelings, our needs, which leads to frustration and isolation for the autistic person. But how does this actually happen? So we know that autistic people have challenges with our social interaction, our communication, our conveying our needs and feelings to others. Obviously, that's not where it ends. So there's that level of a challenge with the communication and interacting and understanding and conveying our thoughts and feelings and wants. But see, this is where it becomes additionally complicated because autistic people, like myself, we actually have trouble expressing, conveying those thoughts and feelings to others in a way that they understand. Now, this could be referred to as a double empathy problem. It's not just the autistic person's fault, right? If I'm conveying my thoughts and feelings and needs to you, but it's not in a way you can understand, the initial reaction would be, well, that's my fault. Well, hang on, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? What are you trying to tell me? What are you saying? I don't get it, right? Okay, so that's all my fault, is it? Sure, it's coming from me, but I've got a different brain, a brain wired differently, meaning that is how I convey it. I know no other way. I can't flick the neurotypical switch. It's like changing language, putting on the subtitles. I can't just put on the subtitles for you. You've got to meet me halfway. Double empathy problem, that disconnect. I guess that's another way of looking at it from a point of view where it isn't just my fault that I have challenges with emotions and interactions and communications, but on top of that, I have challenges conveying it to you in a way you understand. So in essence, the double empathy problem is one of the main reasons why Cassandra Syndrome happens in relationships between neurotypical people and autistic people, in neurodiverse relationships. relationships or neurodiverse friendships. I might not be able to do the things the way you want me to do them or convey them the way you want me to convey them, and therefore you don't really understand them, and therefore you dismiss them or disregard them or minimize them. Another cause of the Cassandra Syndrome, this isn't being picky, I'm not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to say is clearly a inability or just a simple ignorance or lack of knowledge in the needs and differences of your neurodivergent partner. If your partner or friend isn't actually familiar with the unique challenges and the differences between you and them, between how your brain works and their brain works, that's clearly going to cause Cassandra Syndrome. If you're not willing, able, or wanting, or if you just simply haven't taken the time to get to know autism and your autistic friend or partner, well then of course, you're not going to understand them, and therefore you're going to think, well, I don't get it, you're going to dismiss it, right? It's not going to make any sense to you, so then it's nothing relevant. And then they've just realized that you don't get them at all, you don't want to get them, you're not trying to get them, and therefore Cassandra Syndrome. Keeping in mind the unique nature of Cassandra Syndrome, which is when you, say as an autistic person, feel like your feelings and needs are dismissed or ignored by others, even though in your mind you feel like you have communicated to them clearly. And on that point of not really understanding or making the effort to understand the differences of an autistic person, of an autistic brain, you have to understand that means that, well, you won't understand them or where they're coming from. And if you don't understand them, where they're coming from, how could you ever respond appropriately? Does that make sense? So that the disconnect grows. They feel like they're conveying it to you in a clear way. You're dismissing them, ignoring them, or not even responding to them. And the Cassandra Syndrome is created, potentially ruining your relationship. And it's not complex. It's those feelings of frustration, those feelings of isolation, those feelings of not being heard, not being understood that ruin the relationships. It's not complex. I think I convey thoughts, feelings, and needs to you in a way that's clear in my mind. You don't understand them or receive them for many different reasons. Therefore, you ignore them or dismiss them. I'm constantly frustrated. Why won't you ever try to get me? Why won't you try to understand me? Why won't you listen to me? Why are you ignoring me? Why are you dismissing me? That frustration leads to isolation. That isolation can lead to a breakdown in the relationship. Intimacy and emotional expression, another clear cause. And I get it, intimacy, expressing emotions to your partner, it can be difficult, it can be tricky, really for everyone in relationships. But it's even more complex and even more challenging for autistic people. Why, I hear you say. I'll tell you why. In case you didn't realize, autism is a neurodevelopmental condition, disability, which affects communication, social interaction, and can impact our ability to understand, identify, and express emotions. So like I've pointed out with the double empathy problem, you could also look at it as in two different languages, two people in a relationship that speak different languages, and the subtitles aren't turned on for either person. So it creates that disconnect. All right, so then you have to cultivate, you have to grow and understand what your love language is, what your friendship language is. There's no use just saying we communicate differently. Some might have challenges or a different brain. Others might not understand those challenges or that different brain. As a result, no one's getting through. One person is saying, I'm telling you clearly how I feel. And the other person's saying, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. So let's just move on. I'm just going to ignore that or push that away, dismiss that. I don't understand. That's not going to work, right? You cultivate a language that's going to work for you guys. It's a joint thing. To connect, you need two parties to connect. As an autistic guy married to a neurotypical woman, therefore in a neurodiverse relationship with two kids, I can tell you, Cassandra Syndrome can be one of the most challenging things to navigate in relationships. Because if you let it go and you don't understand it and you don't work through it, it can lead to frustration, isolation, and the utter ruining of relationships. And clearly, because autistic people have different brains, I would say Cassandra Syndrome is one of the biggest challenges faced for autistic people in neurodiverse relationships. When your feelings and needs are conveyed, but dismissed or ignored by your partner as an autistic person, and really, I guess for your partner as well, that can cause a lot of disconnect and a lot of isolation. It can also lead to difficulties in building and maintaining trust. But don't worry, there are steps you can take to hopefully overcome the challenges and foster deeper relationships in your life. So how can we prevent Cassandra Syndrome from, in fact, ruining relationships? Pretty simple, actually, by improving your communication and your understanding of the autistic person in your life. But let's not stop there. How about I give you a couple of key strategies you can try. First thing to try to prevent Cassandra Syndrome from ruining a relationship with an autistic person is to work on your communication. Okay, so what does that mean, Orion? It means communicate openly and honestly. It's kind of strange saying this though. I would have thought, isn't that kind of important in all relationships? I thought that'd be a key, a given. Okay, it's probably not. Autistic people tend to be slightly, that's an understatement, more open and honest because we simply have a different wired brain and we communicate and interact differently, more logical, right and wrong. So I get that. It might be harder for you. Okay, that's cool. Just work on it bit by bit. Because remember, as autistic people, and I've mentioned this like 20 billion times on my videos, we have challenges, not only with communication and interaction, but also with identifying and conveying our own thoughts, feelings, emotions, wants, needs, but also identifying the thoughts, feelings, wants, needs of others, working them out, getting them right, and then responding in an appropriate way. How do we fix that? Pretty simple. Say what you mean. Mean what you say. What do you want? Say that. What do you feel? Say that. What do you need? Say that. What are you thinking? Say that. This is one of the most bizarre videos I've ever recorded because everything I just said then seems so completely orthodox and normal that I find it bizarre that this is something people don't think. Are you saying I should be in a relationship with someone and just tell them what I mean and not play games? What? Tell them exactly what I'm actually wanting from them? You mean what? Not getting them to read between the lines or work out the reverse description through calculus and mathematics and science? What do you mean? Just tell them, be honest. What would the game be then? Yeah, the game would be having a meaningful, genuine, connected relationship. Another thing you could try to prevent Cassandra Syndrome from ruining your relationship with an autistic person is, ding, 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 be patient and understanding. Autistic people, including me, process the world around us differently. Why? Because our brain is wired differently. If you've got a different brain, it's going to work differently to other brains that are wired differently. I think I said differently too many times. And in addition to the processing things differently, I would say as an autistic person, this is not the same for all autistic people, but certainly generally you could say it's a challenge, a widespread challenge, is processing time. Not only do I process things differently, I may require extra time to process things. For example, if you are trying to convey or communicate something to me, and before I have a chance to process it in a different way, you may jump in, interject, or you may get offended. Are you ignoring me? What are you doing? And because you don't understand and not being patient. For example, to our son, would you like toast? No, he's not ignoring us because if we don't say anything, a period later, which may seem inappropriate to you, a couple of minutes later maybe, he might go, yeah, I'd love some toast. But what you might usually do is, do you want some toast? Do you want toast? Toast. You want. You have to give extra time to autistic people to process because they do it differently and we require extra time. Not always, but a lot of the times. Patience is key. Communicating with your autistic partner or friend. But it's not just about patience. That small piece of understanding, right? Like my wife has. She knows our son, myself, it takes us time to process. Now, I'm old enough that I've worked out I can tell people, just give me a sec, I'm just processing that. Or I might say, well, that's really got me spinning. Just give me a sec, I'm just processing this. I provide that wheel, that processing wheel. Eh? But more importantly than just creating that level of understanding and being patient when you are communicating, because we get that communication, really it's all processing, right? You broadcast something, I receive it. I process it, I might broadcast something back. Understanding that and being patient with that is key. A slightly more sophisticated level in that communication to consider. Build extra time in. Build extra time into your communication. With your autistic partner, if you're having a conversation, allow it to breathe. Build in extra time where you just let it sit. At some point you might want to go, sorry, did you understand what I just said? Or did you hear what I said? It might get to the point where they are physically just ignoring you. But if you're building an extra time, it may open up more meaningful, more enjoyable, more open and honest and clear communication, which is the direct opposite of having an autistic person feel like they're communicating clearly, but you not understand it, and dismiss it or reject it or ignore it, creating a further disconnect. Big difference. Now, this key strategy to help you prevent Cassandra Syndrome from ruining your relationship with an autistic person is all about understanding autism. But even more than that, not just committing as a non-autistic person in the relationship to spend some time to provide a deeper level of understanding of autism and the autistic person in your life, but also for the autistic person, spending time understanding your relationship, understanding your non-autistic partner, understanding how they think, how they feel, where they're coming from. This works both ways. It might not be the same sophistication level on both sides, and that's okay. But just committing to getting to know your autistic partner and the way they do things differently. The simple idea of understanding certain things is so quick. My wife realizes processing time. It's different. Building in extra time. Waiting. Hold. Don't jump in with a follow-up. Hold. Simple, right? But completely turns around relationships because it takes away all the pressure and the stress and the isolation. And clearly, when you develop a better level of understanding of autism, or your autistic partner, or your non-autistic partner, you become better equipped to communicate and interact with them, which therefore provides a more meaningful, more rewarding relationship. Win-win. The simple act of recognizing Cassandra Syndrome and then working towards creating an environment where feelings and needs are heard and respected, you can hopefully prevent the negative effects of Cassandra Syndrome on the relationships you have with autistic people. And what are your thoughts? Have you experienced this? Did it resonate? Put them in the comments below and share this video with your family and friends so we can reach more people. I'm so grateful for your support. Until my next video, thanks for watching and we'll talk soon.